guys, it's Robin from The Balanced Life, and I'm excited to kick off our Pilates for Beginners series today with a nice little workout and tutorial on neutral spine and the basic mechanics of the hip. So of course I could go into tons of detail on these topics, but I'm going to keep it fairly simple just so that we can start to understand our body, how it works, and how that relates to Pilates. The cool thing is that once you grasp these concepts and really internalize them in your own body, you're going to see much quicker results because what you'll be doing will be much more effective. So there's a reason to take time to learn all of this. It's not just so that you have the knowledge in your head, but it's how it's going to play out in your body and in your life and how effective your workouts will be. So join me on your mat. We're going to lie on our back with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. So first things first, as we read in the blog post, neutral spine has 4 natural curves. So you should feel that when you're lying here on your back. The way you'll feel it is by 2 spaces in your spine, or between your spine and the mat. The first would be behind your neck. So right behind your neck, you should have a bit of space that you can slide your hand underneath you. And that's a natural curve of the spine that we want to keep. So you wouldn't want to flatten your neck into the mat because that's going to put your chin and your head in a strange angle. So you want to honor that nice natural curve and keep it there throughout the workout. The next place that you'll feel space is in the small of your back. So you should have just enough space there that you can slide barely a finger through there, maybe like a pencil. So it's not a ton of space. If you had too much space, like this, that's hyperlordosis, so that's too much of a curve. And then the opposite would be a flat back into the mat, which is taking your pelvis into a tuck and you're no longer effectively maintaining a neutral spine. Now you will find in some classes, even Pilates classes, they teach putting your back flat on the mat. I don't. I teach a neutral spine and I have a number of reasons for that you can read about on my blog. But for today's purposes, we're going to think about maintaining that little natural curvature, that little bit of space throughout the entire workout. Unless I tell you otherwise, right? So that's just the assumed position. Another way to feel this is to think of the points of the pelvis. So you have your hip bones, your bony hip bones. Place your hands there, and then your fingertips on your pubic bone, right? And your pelvis, that's the pelvis, should feel parallel to the floor, okay? So picture I put a little cup of water on that pelvis, and if my back was flat, that water would spill towards me. Okay, if it's neutral, it's going to sit just as it is. It's not going to spill. If I have too much of an arc, it's going to spill that way, right? So that's the happy medium you want to find. So let's think about that here as we do something super simple, just marching our legs. So you're just going to pick up the right leg and place it down. Pick up the left leg and place it down, and start to notice if you're able to maintain those natural curves of the spine, or if you are tempted to or in the habit of flattening your back and rocking your pelvis back and forth. So I'd like you to try to maintain that still pelvis, that parallel pelvis, and the nice natural curve of the lower back. That's how you're going to build core strength, right? That's part of it. That's a big part of it. Because you have to work to stabilize that neutral spine. You can't cheat it when you're maintaining neutral spine. Which brings me to our second concept, which is just basic mechanics of the hip. So as you'll notice here, my pelvis can stay still as the legs march. So some of us think that the pelvis and the legs are one unit and they affect one another automatically, right? That doesn't have to happen. Your thigh bone is a ball and socket joint. So it can rotate in the pelvis without moving the pelvis, right? Fancy that. So that's a cause of a lot of back pain in people, is not having the ability to disassociate the leg movement from the trunk or the pelvis. So just keep marching. Let's actually bring both legs now up to tabletop and maintain that neutral spine. You might already find that you flattened your back, so correct that if you can. Now from here, take one foot or leg down to tap the mat and bring it back up. Notice how your thigh bone is rotating in the pelvis and rotating back up. right? You're able to maintain a strong, stable pelvis parallel to the floor while you move your legs. And it's a lot of work actually, isn't it? It's a lot more work to hold that neutral spine. Abdominal wall has to draw in. Transverse abdominis has to engage. Honestly, this right here is not fancy, but it's a lot of work. So keep holding that neutral spine, marching the leg from side to side, and let's breathe. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Chest is open, collarbone is wide. Inhale, exhale, one more each side. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Good. Okay, from here, similar, but slightly different because we're going to add some chest lift. So find that neutral pelvis, right? Little space between the small of the back. Gently grab behind your knees, nod your chin, come up into a chest lift, and keep that neutral spine. So this is where a lot of us do this. We flatten the back, tuck the pelvis. Drop the sacrum down, find your level pelvis. Take both hands to your right knee and stretch your leg out. It can be as high as you need it to be. From here, switching sides. Switching sides. If it's too much to have your head lifted, just keep it on the mat and still maintain your neutral spine. Good. I'm going to come back up, holding and breathing, reaching through the leg, really focusing on that neutral spine. It's so much work to do, but it's much more effective. Good. Let's do 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. Knees come in, hug them into your chest. Good. Okay, from here, 2 more exercises to drill this concept into our bodies and our minds. Keep your knees slightly bent, but walk them a little bit further out. You're going to take one leg and raise it to the ceiling. If you can't get it to straight, just keep it bent. Remember, it's beginners to Pilates. I don't expect you to be perfect here. Now place your hands on your hip bones so you can feel if you're having a neutral, stable pelvis or not. And this is another exercise for the mechanics of the hip. We're going to draw circles with that leg, which is really the thigh bone stirring in the hip socket. So think of drawing that thigh bone deep into the socket as you draw circles. Notice how you can keep your pelvis still as the leg circles. So if you're rocking side to side, you're not quite doing it right. So try to take a little bit of time to disassociate these 2 parts of the body. It's a lot of work. Let's reverse it. Circle around and up, around and up, around and up. 3 more. And 2 and 1. Good. Place it down, switching sides. The other leg goes up. It's okay if it's a little bit bent. Find your transverse, your strong belly connection, and circle the leg around and up, around and up. Right? We only make the circle as big as we can, maintaining the stability. So if you're stable, you can go bigger with your circle, but it's harder than it looks. Nothing wrong with you using your hands for feedback in the beginning or all the time. It's great to know where your body's at in space. Good. Let's reverse it. Circle out, over and up, out, over and up, out, over and up. 1 more. Good, and hug the knee in. Okay, from here, rock yourself up. We're going to go into a plank, bringing this concept of neutral spine into plank. So, knees are fine. In fact, let's all do knees. If you want to take the knees out of it, you're welcome to. But I'm going to place my forearms on the mat, just in line with my shoulders. Taking 1 foot back, and then the other foot back. Then I'm going to lower the knees down and find that neutral pelvis. So from here, why don't you untuck your toes as well? And a tucked pelvis would look like this. An arched back would look like that. You want to be somewhere in between. So your lower back feels long. Your sit bones do feel like they're drawing towards your heels, but you're not squeezing your glutes and trying to tuck your pelvis under. So another part of neutral spine would be the head, right? So this would not be neutral. We've lost that curve of the back. So let's bring it up so that you have that nice natural curve in the back of the neck. Hold and breathe. Good, one more time. And then sit yourself back over your heels and get a nice stretch. Good. Coming back up, last exercise, laying on your side so we can feel neutral spine while we're on our side. So you would pretend that there's a wall behind your back. And if you were in neutral spine, you would feel the back of your head on the wall, the back of your rib cage, and your booty. The other places would have their natural space, just like when you're lying on the mat. So with our knees bent, let's open the hip and lower it down. So go ahead and place your hand on your top hip bone. And notice here, again, just like we did on the floor, your pelvis is able to stay still as you move and rotate the thigh bone in the hip socket. So this is a great way to work the deep external rotators of the hip. Whereas if you were to roll back and forth, you're not going to get that work. So stay squared off in your pelvis and just get that opening. Even if it's small, some of us are going to be really small in that movement. That's okay. Remember, I do this a lot, so I've got a little bit more range of motion. Let's do 4 more. And 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Other side. Let's just finish on the other side. Stacking ourselves up. Finding that imaginary wall behind you. Remember, your head would touch the back of your rib cage and your booty. Rest your hand in front of you. Square your pelvis off towards me. And just open and close. Open and close. Good. 3 and 4. Can you lift a little bit under your waist? 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 2. 9, 10. Nice job. Pressing yourself up to seated. Great job, you guys. You've completed your first workout in Pilates for Beginners. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And remember that I'll be uploading a new video every Friday with a new workout. So I'll see you back here on your mat very soon.